Hey folks, Mark with MD Custom Fly Rods here. Next step, and this is actually going to be probably one of the shortest ones on this because of just doing a little bit of work over lunch, and the dumbass, I just kind of get going and get moving and everything else. And since this is just going to be I'm just doing the handles today, doing the cork handles. Went ahead and threw in the this is going to be an 8-inch foregrip on there, kind of what they're wanting more is not quite a spay grip or the full length of a spay grip, but the kind of the thickness of it and the feel of it, and not the rear grip of a spay grip, but once again, kind of the thickness of it, but shortened up a little bit. Once again, this is a kind of a musky pike rod. We've got our kind of gripping on down, and let me show you what I've got, and then I'm going to get in and show you the tools that I use. This is, and if you're getting into doing any sort of wood turning and stuff like that, this is about as easy as it really gets of turning cork. So hold on as I get this the camera moved around. So as I said, I got a little bit, ahead of myself. So this is what I was talking about is it's not so much more of the standard Windsor or full or cigar shaped type of a grip, kind of more of a spay type of a grip, but just not as long. Spay grips are usually going to be a little bit longer to have full grip. This is a section that still needs to be turned. This is kind of what it started out as. I will go ahead and get this set on up, but I will also go ahead and show you what I did and the tools that I use. This is really nothing special. It is stuff that really can be, you may already have, or you have some of it, but I just kind of went ahead and did this. Some of the waviness I kind of did intentional, just kind of give this, instead of a straight little bit, I wanted to continue the banding here and here, just a little bit of waviness, give it a little bit of kind of like a water's edge type of a banding here with what's going on there, and just kind of give this nice, as you notice, it's a lot thicker too. And let me go ahead and get this pulled on out and show you what I've got. Or actually, let me show you exactly what I use. First of all, to get everything set up and going is a standard block of wood. That is what I find is the easiest way. And then, since I had ordered a long time ago this cheap sandpaper for my random orbital sander, which really sucks on doing most anything else other than cork, is I find is on going through on the lathe, by running my rest here, I'm able to come up on the bottom here and able to get a nice, by working it back and forth, I'm able to start out with a, whereas you see, like on here, it is all kind of wonky and everything else. I start with going with the block of wood. We're able to get it nice and perfectly straight, you can imagine. And then after I get everything nice and straight going across, I work the grip as far as how I want it to fit the user. So this being a little bit, and I'll show you here coming on up, how this is going to be kind of set up and used. So, and then let's say right there, starting with the 80, and then going to a 120, and then down to a 250, and then to a 400, gives it nice and smooth. And then, and actually I will go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and slow the lathe on down here, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with some of the, get on over here. Once again, this is not an endorsement. This is just the products that I like. Some of the nice cork seal here. This just helps. Here I have got this all kind of set up here as no matter how often or how well I try, I get, the cork just seems to be always get a little bit off. So first thing I always will want to do is get this perfectly straight across. And the easiest way I found to do that is, partially by accident, I went with some of these cheap sanding discs off of Amazon. There were like 200 of them in various sizes, and they suck for the dual orbital sander, but for doing cork, they seem to be pretty good. So I will start out with a 80 grit, and to do that, I put it on just a standard piece of wood. Put that right on up here, and I go to the back side and hang on here while I fire this up and get going. It's got a little bit gritty there, which is fine. So I'll just go ahead and swap this on out. But you see how that just kind of took off all those edges, and we just work our way straight on down. There, I just got a piece of 150 right here. And then, and actually on this point, since this is going to be my fighting end, or the end that's going to go on down, I'm just going to go ahead and at this point just start actually doing my shaping. And this is actually where the fun gets to start happening. So I'm just going to continue to see just how just even using like the 150s, just shaping this and smoothing this right on down just fine. I'm going to continue to shape this on down, although it's much easier in doing wood on a lathe. Cork is about the easiest thing I've found to do. I'm going to go ahead and turn the my microphone off on this, and I am going to turn my fan on because it's going to get loud here and get a few measurements done. So hold on for a moment as I get going. Okay, got it done, got the fan off. Just gonna give this a real quick wipe down. A little bit of alcohol just to pull any sort of particles off here. Let this thing run again for half a minute, just to make sure everything's done off and dried off. I'll show you what else we got going on here. Let that dry off. Okay. Got that. There we go. Nice. And then we are going to, once again, not, and I repeat, not an endorsement once again, but with the U40 cork seal. And what this is a protectant for doing your cork. Go through the hassle and trouble of doing your own corks. You want to protect it. And this just takes, it will soak up in there. It's a one coat product. It will soak up into the cork. And it'll take a couple hours for it to dry up, where it's safe to handle. And then 24 hours before, I guess, is technically good to be used, because, and it will just, after that, it is good, but obviously this is not going to be used. Go ahead and try to do this. Is I tried at first to use a wooden dowel through here, and I was getting a little bit of flex through the grip, and that is no bueno. So I found that going with a with my work, we use a lot of all thread, and this by far is much more superior. We've got a lot of stainless steel at work, so that made it even better. And this is a lot of the scrap stuff, because we buy it by the 10-foot sections, if not more. And it will, that way I made, this is a 3/8 inch section, and is what I do. Although the good part about it is it is tough. It doesn't want to bend. Bad part is it doesn't want to drill easy, and I'll show you here why in a second. Why that's a bad, or is bad when trying to get everything set, is when it's getting this set up on the lathe. I guess if I had to do a small little hole right there to get this set up on the edge, on the end, and that made it just so it was just harder to deal with a little bit on trying to drill. But once it's done now, it is makes it a little bit easier to deal with. I can and that I'm going to wait on, because I do need to do one last thing on it, fit it for the real seat, which I do by hand. But I need to get that. That's also currently drying, which will also be the next video, which I have on another video. Still needs to process and go out, but the tools on doing cork and stuff like that is it's actually very simple. On the bands, I found that I run those just through bandsaw. Make sure everything's set up on 90 degrees, and I set it right up next to a block. I don't do, I mean, there's tools out there to help guide you and set them up through to help get a little bit more of a straighter, exact depth on there. I have a block that I use that I set up out of a 2x4 that I use the exact same thing. So out of a single piece of cork, I can get 3 sections or 4 sections, depending on how I want out of it, to get these bands perfectly done. As I said, this one I wanted wavy lines, just give that kind of water effect. And once again, you know, it's sometimes imperfection makes a little bit more, makes it a little bit nicer. It's like if you've ever had if you've ever had to wear a tuxedo and had to wear a bow tie, you never want to wear a clip-on, or if you do, you can always tell you're wearing a clip-on as opposed to the individual who's not wearing a clip-on, because if you've ever had to hand tie a bow tie, it never looks perfect. And sometimes the higher end, you never want to look exactly perfect. So that was the look I was going for, and that was the look intended on this. So that being said, I will go through and I will show you how to make things look as perfect as we can. I will set up a separate video, as I said, on my introduction channel. I am going to set up separate individual channels on doing specifically corks, doing specifically guides and everything else. So look for that coming up shortly as well. And the specific tools I need. But on this one right here, I just kind of mainly wanted to show you using the block of wood will get you a nice smooth when sanding down your cork to your right depth that you need, and then use the individual sandpaper to get down to your how you want the grip to fit you. So that being said, I will go ahead and end the video here, and you have a great day. Take friends and family fishing, and like, subscribe, hit notifications, and see you on the next one.